Now children, today let's start with chapter number 13, that is Women and Reform. So in this chapter I will tell you about the reform movement in Eastern India. So Indian society during 18th century was divided along gender and caste lines, right? The women they were not allowed to study. उनको allow नहीं करा जाता था study करने के लिए, and they were married off very early age. So widows were not allowed to remarry. उनको allow नहीं करा जाता था remarry करने के लिए, right? And many times they wanted, there was also no bar on the marriage of widows. Polygamy ये fairly common था इस time पे. If we talk about the practice of sati था, beings were immolated herself on her husband's front. जब उनके husbands को जलाया जाता था तो उसके साथ उनको भी क्या किया जाता था, जिंदा जलाया जाता था. So for a long time British rulers remained indifferent and practice of these evil social customs, and they were made to eradicate some of the evils. More efforts were made. बहुत अलग अलग efforts बनाए गए, right? Like British administration, Indian Rajaram Mohan Roy, Ishwarchan Vidyasagar, Mahadev Govind Ranade, or there are Saraswati. They did many things for the abolition of all these things. So reform movement just start हुई थी आपका ईस्टर्न नेशन में, इंडिया में. जैसे राजा राम मोहन रॉय belonged to Hindu Brahmin family. He was totally against evil custom. वो totally against his evil custom थी and observance of Hinduism, and he believed in the reform of Hinduism itself. Historians have often called him, जो historians थे उनको father of modern India भी कहा जाता था, and champion of women. He worked tirelessly, right? And he established Brahmo Samaj to work for social welfare. And he was company against sati, child marriage, polygamy, and caste distinction and untouchability. So he was instrumental in the opening of Hindu Orthodox College in Kolkata and setting up of modern Indian newspaper. और एक modern Indian newspaper भी set up करा. फिर हम ईश्वरचंद विद्यासागर की बात करते हैं. Born in a poor Brahmin family, and he was a great Sanskrit scholar, become principal of Sanskrit College, fearless and honest, and he was a man of simple living. ठीक है, एक simple living जीते थे, right? And he spent all his life for the upliftment of women and girls. उन्होंने अपनी पूरी लाइफ किसमें, वुमेन्स के लिए और गर्ल्स के अपलिफ्टमेंट के लिए. Relentless efforts faced a strong opposition. भाई गवर्नमेंट ने भी बहुत ज़्यादा अपोजिशन करा विडो रीमैरिज एक्ट का. And what happened in December 1856 took place under inspiration, guidance and supervision of Ishwar Vidyasagar. Right? Swami Vivekananda raised voice against caste system, and he vehemently opposed untouchability. He preached that service of humanity was the service of God. कि आप सर्विस दे रहे हो ह्यूमैनिटी को, वो सर्विस ऑफ गॉड है, राइट? एंड इट फाउंडेड रामकृष्ण मिशन 1897, और उन्होंने किसके लिए वर्क करा था, सोशल रिफॉर्म, सोशल रिलीजियस रिफॉर्म. उनके गुरु कौन थे, स्वामी रामकृष्ण परमहंस, राइट? Then law against child marriage. There was a law against child marriage, and child marriage was another deep entrenched of social evil in India. Number of Indian जो legislator थे, what they did, they in the Central Assembly वो उन्होंने fought करा for the prevention of child, ठीक है, child right के लिए, and Child Marriage Act restrained and passed in 1921. और जो minimum age, if we talk about the minimum age of the marriage was fixed at 18 for men and 16 for. Then what happened? The Child Marriage Restraint Amendment Act in 1978 raised the age of marriage for girls 18 and boys 20. Now reform movement in the Western India. देखो जैसे हमने Eastern India की कुछ reform movements पढ़ी. Now I will tell you about the Western India. So in Maharashtra, the idea of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Brahmo Samaj was spread. और किसने spread करा था? केशव चंद्र सेन. He was inspired by the Samaj, Mahadev Ranade, R.G. Bhandarkar, and Dr. Atmaram Paduram established. इन्होंने क्या एस्टैब्लिश करा था? प्रार्थना समाज, मतलब प्रेयर सोसाइटी. और कब करी थी प्रेयर सोसाइटी? 1867 में. सो द एसोसिएशन वर्क फॉर द अबॉलिशन ऑफ कास्ट सिस्टम एंड अनचेक. और तो क्या प्रोवाइड करा, और इन्होंने क्या प्रूव करा? द स्टेटस ऑफ वुमेन, विडो मैरिज, हिंदू मुस्लिम यूनिटी एंड स्प्रेड ऑफ मॉडर्न एजुकेशन, राइट? सो अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट रिफॉर्म इन महाराष्ट्र वाज ज्योति भाई फुले. He and his wife started girls' schools at Pune. He was actively campaigned for remarriage and he supported social reform. इन्होंने कुछ सोशल रिफॉर्मर थे, जगन्नाथ शंकर सेठ एंड बाहुदा जी, इनको क्या करा? सपोर्ट करा. नाउ ज्योतिबा फुले फाउंडेड सत्य शोधक समाज. इन्होंने सत्य शोधक समाज को भी फाउंड करा 1873 में. इसका मेन एम था टू एजुकेट लोअर कास्ट, और उनको अपने जो राइट्स है, जो उनके पावर्स है, उनके बारे में अवेयर करा जाए. दैट्स व्हाई शी ब्रिंग दैट. And membership, the ideas of Brahmo Samaj made their impact as far South India, and they were influenced by the ideals of Brahmo Samaj. And K. Shraddhalu Naidu, what they founded Ved Samaj in Madras in 1864. It's believed that overthrowing caste system and performing all marriages, funeral rites without any performing all marriages and funeral rites without any religious ceremony. It is prohibited polygamy and child marriage, and it advocated to what? Remarriage of the women. Education of women. In 19th century, the spread of education amongst the women become possible mainly due to efforts of the West. कैसे possible हुआ? West के efforts से, right? India reforms and educated Indian women. Reforms of the period wanted women to be educated, and they believe that education would give them a better life. क्या उनको education क्या देगा? एक better life देगा. And the biggest advocates जो थे वो क्या थे? That was Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule, Mr. Vidyasagar, and Jyotibai opened a school for girls जो किसको belong करता था? Lower caste, right? And he was closely associated with Lord Drinkwater Bethune, who started first school for the girls in Kolkata. इन्होंने क्या कहा था? सबसे पहला स्कूल गर्ल्स के लिए स्टार्ट करा था और कहा कलकत्ता में और 1849 में. In Western India, Parsi, Maharashtrian, Gujarati Hindu girls were often educated home, and the Elphi Stone institution started school for girls in Bombay in 1847. So जो पर्दा school था, they were set up for Muslims girls. Parents were given assurance of their safety. और Rokia Hussain, what she started school for girls in Bhagalpur, और किसमें? In the memory of her husband. Women reformer. Let's study about some women reformers. Like if we talk about Pandit Ramabai, she was one such pioneer in the field of women reform. She was a woman educated in the scared Sanskrit text of her father, right? Experience as a widow led for the work of the welfare of women. She began for her social work. कहाँ करा था? विदार्य महिला समाज in Pune, and later she established Sharda Southern School India में, Bombay में, and she even founded widows home. ठीक है, जिससे वो shelter दे सके needy widows, right? Then we have Kandavani Ganguly 86-93 and Anandi Gopal Joshi. वे दो Indian women थी जो graduate हुई as a doctor from the Western medicine, and she was one of the first graduate of Bethune College, Kolkata. जब वो लर्न कर रही थी मेडिसिन, she met a considerable opposition from her teacher and orthodox member of society, and later Kandavini and her husband fought to improve the plight of women coal miners in Eastern India. Now Southern India की हम बात करें पेरियार ईवी राम से. देखिए ये सोशल एक्टिविस्ट है जिन्होंने सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट मूवमेंट स्टार्ट कर ली. इसको हम द्रविडियन मूवमेंट भी कहते हैं. What we call it द्रविडियन मूवमेंट, and why we started it? जिस some social inequalities को हटा सके, that gives non-Brahmins a sense of pride, which is based on Dravidian caste. Now Kandapuri Veera Salinga, born in Andhra Pradesh, pioneer of social reform in Andhra Pradesh. He was greatly influenced by the idols of Brahmo Samaj, और इन्होंने भी widow education, widow remarriage और caste reform के लिए काम करा था. Next is Sri Narayan Guru, was born in an Izhava family in Kerala. Izhavas were considered to be the lower caste. His own experience of the mistreatment mandated to the Izhavas pushed him to work tirelessly towards the caste reform. आप किसके लिए काम करो? किसकी तरफ? caste reform, right? Then what happened? Mahatma Gandhi and the caste system. Mahatma Gandhi, besides being great nationalist leader and father of nation and social reformer, he worked tirelessly for upliftment of lower caste and women. And he, people of the social called lower caste Harijan, children of God, founded All Indian Untouchability League, और उन्होंने क्या स्टार्ट करा? वीकली न्यूज़पेपर जिसका नाम था हरिजन. Now Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fight against caste oppression. The pioneer in the fight against caste oppression in India was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. When he grew up, he wanted to integrate his untouchability mainstream by the society. He launched the untouchability movement in Maharashtra in 1920, and in 1934 he founded Institute of Request Class, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं? बहिष्कृत हितकारिणी सभा in Bombay. 1927 he organized the Samaj Samtha Sangh to propagate the idea of social equality among all castes of people. ठीक है, right? Now the chapter has been completed. Let's move to the exercise. Now take the correct option. Sir Sri Narayan Guru was born in Izhava family in Kerala. Dash founded Ved Samaj in Madras 1864, that is Sri K. Sridharu Naidu. Child Marriage Restraint Act was passed in 1928, and Dash whole life is spent to upliftment women, that is Jyotibai Phule. Now let's start with fill in the blanks. Ambedkar launched and dash movement in Maharashtra in 1920 and untouchability movement. Dash is widely considered to be the pioneer of the social reformer in Andhra Pradesh. That is Veer Sangilam. रामाबाई began her social work with Dash in Pune. किसके साथ करा था? विडो. The idea, जो आइडिया था ब्रह्मो समाज का, it made their impact as far as Dash schools were set up for Muslim girls. Now write T for true and F for false statement. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was born in Brahman family. It's true. Next is Swami Dayanand Saraswati was sannyasi from Gujarat. It's true. Gujarat se the. Bal Shastri Jambedkar was the first reformer. It's true. And 1853 Dipindranath Tagore recognized Brahmo Samaj. It's true. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, abolition of sati. Then we have Dayanand Saraswati, Adarsh Samaj. Jyotibai Phule Girls School in Pune. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Muslim reformer, and Karsoda Military Satyaprakash. Now answer the following. What reform brought in South India? And आपको और डिस्कस करना है वुमेन रिफॉर्म्स का टुवर्ड्स क्लोज ऑफ 19th century. What steps were taken? क्या steps लिए गए to reform the educate women? Discuss the details of reform movement in Western India. Right? What were the contribution of Raja Ram Mohan Roy? Who were the first two Indian women to graduate हुई थी from doctors? अभी मैंने आपको बताया था. Who were the biggest advocate of Muslim? Who established Pratham Samaj? And what was the Child Marriage Restraint Act and who founded Ramakrishna Mission? And name some social rebels against Brahmo Samaj campaign. Right? Now we have completed this chapter. Hope you understood. Let's meet in the next class. Thank you.